Hare Krishna, everybody. Subhadra Mataji, Dhanashri Mataji, Chatura Mataji.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu,
Dhanyavad.
Prana,
Hare
Dandava,
Krishna.
Prana.
Everybody, Dandava Pranam.
Nice to see you. I'm back in Mayapur, so we can resume normally. Although Shailesh Prabhu, he told me today and the next week he cannot. So he was asking whether we can postpone, but I said, well, if there are others who were present, then we will continue. So at least there are 3 of you. So I would continue. So let us just quickly summarize what we finished 2 weeks ago. If you remember, we were going through that Shravan Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam shloka that Prahlad Maharaj in the 5th chapter of the 7th canto, when he was asked by Hiranyakashipu, when he was asked, what is the best of all things you learned? He told about 9 processes of bhakti. And then Srila Prabhupada, for each and every item, Limbo Bhakti gave a very, very long purport. So 2 classes we were going through it. The last one, I think deity worship was the most extensive in the last class. All offenses in deity worship we learned and many other things there. And then we also read a little bit about Vandanam, Sakyam, and Atmani Vedanam. So I won't summarize that anymore. We'll just continue with the shloka which follows that one. And this is the 25th shloka. Okay, so just one moment. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So you please interrupt me. Actually, we can go around and read. Okay, I'll read the first one, and then next person can read one. Each person can read one shloka. I assume that the purpose now will be normal size, not as long as previously. I'll start. Nishamya itat sutavacho kinakashipustada guru putram uvachedam narusha ras puritadhara. Nishamya hearing. After hearing these words of devotional service from the mouth of his son Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry. His lips trembling, he spoke as follows to Shanda, the son of his guru Sukracharya. If you remember, this is the second time that Prahlad Maharaj is speaking something inappropriate according to Hiranyakashipu to him. First time he didn't take it very seriously, but he sent him back to Gurukul and told the teachers to educate him properly and to get out of his head all this bhakti stuff. But now, after being schooled again, he returned and again he's speaking the same what he spoke previously. So this makes Hiranyakashipu very angry, and now he wants to vent out his anger first to sons of Shukracharya because he thinks they're responsible. They taught him the wrong way. Okay, let us read the next sloka. Subhadra Mataji, would you like to read?
Yes, Prabhu. Brahma bandho kim etatte vipaksham srayata sata asaram grahito balo mam anadritya durmate. O unqualified, most heinous son of a Brahman, you have disobeyed my order and taken shelter of the party of my enemies. You have taught this poor boy about devotional service. What is this nonsense?
Report.
Yeah. In this verse, the word asaram, meaning having no substance, is significant. For a demon, there is no substance in the process of devotional service. But to a devotee, devotional service is the only essential factor in life. Since Hiranyakashipu did not like devotional service,
We cannot hear you. You're muted. Subhadra Mataji, can you unmute yourself? Somehow you're muted.
oh, sorry. Where should I?
Since
Since-
Hiranyakashipu,
Okay. Since Hiranyakashipu did not like devotional service, the essence of life, he chastised Prahlad Maharaj teachers with harsh words. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that they should be tvaya by you. You have taught something which has no word, asaram. However, the other meaning is you have taught something which has no compare.
So it's kind of ironic that Hiranyakashipu here is calling devotional service something without any word, asaram. And he thinks that the material education, like, politics, economics, and science, and all these things that are taught in a modern day world, that this is something very valuable. And the present day society is teaching exactly those asara things as something valuable. And nowhere the science of the souls is taught in modern day educational institutions, apart from some spiritual organizations like ISKCON. Yeah, this is the sad state of affairs in today's world. That something that has no value is given value, and something that is really valuable, it's completely neglected. Okay, we can go on the next. If nobody has anything on this, Chatura Mataji, if you could please continue.
Okay. Shantihi ashatavaloke du mechas chatta Vaishnaha Teishan Uttiti Akamkali Rogapatha Kinnan Niva. Translation. In due course of time, various types of diseases are manifest in those who are sinful. Similarly, in this world, there are many deceptive friends in false scars, but eventually, because of their false behavior, their actual enmity becomes manifest. Purport. Being anxious about the education of his boy, Prahlad, Hiranyakasipu was very much dissatisfied. When Prahlad began teaching about devotional service, Hiranyakasipu immediately regarded the teachers as his enemies in the garb of friends. In this verse, the words Roga, Patakinam, evil, refer to diseases which is the most sinful and miserable of the conditions of material life. Jama Mityu Jara Vyati, Bhagavad Gita 13.9. This is the symptom of the body of a sinful person. The Smriti Satya says, Brahmaha Shaya Roti Sha Sarapa Shavadantaka Svanahari to Kunaki Duschamakuru Tapakaha. Murderers of Brahmanas are later afflicted by tuberculosis. Drunkards become toothless. Those who have stolen gold are are afflicted by diseased nails, and sinful men who have sexual connections with the wife of a superior are afflicted by leprosy and similar skin diseases. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur, by good fortune, your partiality to the enemy has been revealed after so many days. Today will give you a suitable gift. He makes a general statement with this specific intention. The hatred of those with false friendship will become evident by faith, just as disease becomes manifest in a sinner. It is said in the Smriti, Brahmaha Shayarogi Shashurapa Shavadantaka Svanaharitu Kunnaki Duschama Guru Tapagaha. The killer of Brahmana gets tuberculosis. The alcoholic gets a discolored teeth. The gold thief gets diseased nails. He who violates the Guru's wife gets leprosy. Yajna Vakya Smriti.
Okay, so this was Darshan Smritis, some different Dharma Shastras where the reactions for different sort of actions described, and this is just a small of all possible diseases. How many diseases are there? You know, thousands, tens of thousands, if not millions of diseases are there, and I guess each one has a proper reaction, although it might not be so straightforward as this. You know, the killer of Brahmana gets tuberculosis, but sometimes, you know, killer of Brahmana might be also killed. It depends also on the circumstances and you know, the Yamaraj, and he decides accordingly. So he doesn't need to strictly follow this prescription that all those who have tuberculosis doesn't mean that they are all killers of Brahmanas. They might earn tuberculosis because of something else. It's the laws of karma, very, very complicated. I remember once I had some toothache and I had a really problem with one tooth. And then there was one devotee who was a kind of sort of psychic. So I asked him, can you see, kind of jokingly, but I asked him, can you see why do I have this problem with this tooth? And then he kind of went into his sort of meditation. And then he told me, well, you know, in previous life, you hit one person who was innocent, and you broke his tooth, and it really pained him very much. And because of this, you know, you have now problem with this tooth. So he saw it like that. I don't know, is it true or not? But definitely all the bodily problems that we have, we deserve in this way or other. So we cannot say, oh, it's injustice that I'm sick. It's this, is that. Of course, part of it could be, you know, a bad habit, you know, bad, you know, nutrition, no exercise, this, that, lifestyle. But also sometimes even people who take utmost care of health, you know, eat properly, exercise, still they get sick. So how can that be explained? It must be karma. It must be some previous activities. Okay, anybody has anything
Yeah,
on this?
Prabhu.
Yes.
How to understand the disease of the devotees?
Well, same as disease of everybody. You know, we are not completely free, you know, from our karma. Although it's said that, you know, devotee he's relieved of the large part of karma, but prarabdha karma, something that is already manifested, Krishna is letting it unfold, but he might minimize, but still, because we have a body, and Krishna is letting the body go through its natural course. So like it's compared the karma with the body is compared to the fan. Sometimes you switch the fan, but it keeps rotating. The ceiling fan, it keeps rotating even after some time when you switch the fan off. So you can say you're not making any more new karma as a devotee, but by inertia, your karma still goes until this body is finished. I mean, the material body is a karma. It's a manifestation of our previous activity and previous life. So it's a karma, and it has its own, reactions for whatever we did in the previous life. So we are not going to get rid of it immediately just by becoming a devotee, start practicing something. And we see even pure devotees like Prabhupada who really don't have any karma, still manifested some symptoms of disease to show that that nobody in material world is free from birth, disease, old age, and death. It's just nature of this world. And as long as we are in the material world, the material body, we have to accept it, and we should not protest it. Anything else on this, Chatura Mataji?
Yeah, you see, sometimes devotees, because they are practicing devotees and their energy is much higher than the ordinary people. And then then there are some evil people will steal this energy of the devotee and made them sick. We can see when sometimes we remove this how to say obstacles, and then the disease is healed without any medicine.
Yeah, you can also say that disease is a disturbance in the energy field of a body. So, but even the remedy, it's maybe it was in your karma to get healed also, because even the people who get certain disease due to their karma, they suffer for some time, and after that, generally they get healed. So that means doesn't mean that everybody who gets some disease is going to die and it's end of the world. So whether you heal through medicine or through some energy healing or natural healing or allopathic or homeopathic or Ayurveda, somehow or other you want to get healed. And that's, you can say it's a mercy of the Lord, especially for devotees. They see it as the mercy that I got healed. Other people,
Yeah.
they don't think, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, when we get a disease, and then we can use all kinds of healing methods, and then we get healed. Yeah, but sometimes we may bore many medicines, and then we still cannot get healed. So,
Yeah, because the karma was very heavy. The karma,
yeah.
the karma was such that it's very difficult to heal. I guess the sinful activity we did was very serious, so it's not that easy to heal.
Mm.
There's
But
one.
when
Yeah.
when somebody realize this is maybe obstacles made by some evil people, when they realize this and remove this evil energy, and then they get healed.
Yeah, the disease could be from different reasons. One of the reasons is that, the evil people or curses, but that's also part of your karma, that somehow these evil people attacked you. This is also because maybe you attacked somebody else in a previous life, or did something else to be attacked in these lives. So whether it's evil people or your own body, or whatever else, it is the cause of the apparent cause, superficial cause of the disease, external cause. There is a deeper cause, which is in the previous life, in the past life, and that deeper cause we don't see. In Russia, there is one healer. He's kind of very famous. He wrote many books. Sergei Lazarev is his name, and he's teaching something called diagnostics of karma. He used to heal people with bioenergy, but then after some years of practice, he realized that actually that everybody is just healing the symptoms of the disease, but nobody's healing really the root cause of the disease. Because even with the modern medicines, whether allopathic, homeopathic, Ayurvedic, you are healing symptoms, but
Yeah.
you don't know what the cause is. So if the karma is not removed, you might feel one symptom, but if the karma is still there, it can turn into another disease or another problem in life. For example, now you become healthy, but then you have problems in your relationship or your finances or this or that. So it's keep causing problems as long as that karma is not burned. So what he is doing, this Sergei Lazarev, because he's a sort of psychic, he is kind of going into meditation and then seeing what these people did in their previous life. And then he is informing them and helping them to repent. He's telling them this happened because of this, and that. Please pray to God for forgiveness, feel remorse, and like this. He wants them to feel your remorse and to feel that it was their responsibility that caused this disease. And through this sort of prayerful technique, he relieves them from that karma. After they realize that they did it because they did something wrong in previous life, that's why they're sick, somehow they get healed. So he's basically removing the karma through approaching God and praying for forgiveness. Somehow like that, that method works. That's why he calls it diagnostics of karma, because he's trying to heal the root cause, which is karma, not just external symptoms.
Yeah. Very good. Thank you.
Okay, so let us go to Dhanashri Mataji is the next. Can you please read? Dhanashri Mataji, you there?
I am there, thank you. Okay. Shri Guru Putra Uvacha. Namat Pranitam, na para pranitam. Suto vadati esha tavendra chatro. Naisa gikia kiam matir asya rajan. Niyacha manium kad ada sma ma naha.
Okay.
The son Sukacharya, Hiranyakashipu's spiritual master, said, O enemy of King Indra, O king, whatever your son Prahlad has said was not taught to him by me or anyone else. His spontaneous devotional service has naturally developed in him. Therefore, please give up your anger and do not unnecessarily accuse us. It is not good to insult a Brahmana in this way. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, 7528, O enemy of Indra, this indicates it is not proper for you to become angry at a poor Brahmana. Do not find fault in us. The augment of another is poetic license.
Okay, so basically, the sons of Shukracharya, they're very afraid, so they want to excuse themselves. It's not our fault. Don't become angry at us. Something else is the cause of Prahlad's bhakti. It's not us. So we are innocent. They want to save the skin. All right, so Gunraj Prabhu, would you like to read? If you're there, Gunraj Prabhu. We cannot hear you if you're there. Can you unmute? Okay, looks like he's not there. I'll read then. Srinarayan.
Hare
Oh,
Krishna.
you're there. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
Prabhu. You
No,
can go on.
unmute. It is not unmuting. Okay. Shri Narada Vacha Guru Naivam Prati Prakotto Bhuya Ahashura Sutam Nachet Guru Mukyam Te Kuto Abhadrashati Mati. Shri Narada Muni continued. When Hiranyakashipu received this reply from the teacher, he again addressed his son Prahlada. Hiranyakashipu said, "You rascal, most fallen of our family, if you have not received this education from your teachers, where have you gotten it?" Purport. Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura explains that devotional service is actually Bhadra Sati, not Abhadra Asati. In other words, knowledge of devotional service can be neither inauspicious nor contrary to etiquette. To learn devotional service is the duty of everyone. Therefore, the spontaneous education of Prahlad Maharaja is supported as auspicious and perfect. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, O inauspicious one, the hidden meaning is, from where did you get this mind which is not inauspicious? Asati.
Vishnu Thakur, he is expert in interpreting the statements of demons in order to show that they're actually glorification of Krishna and devotees. So here he is interpreting and giving hidden meaning that actually Kashipu is saying that Prahlad's mind is not inauspicious, which means it is auspicious. So it's Badram Sati, not Abhadra Asati. Yeah, so he's naturally interested to find out if Sandana Marka didn't teach him bhakti. Who taught him? How? He must have gotten it from somewhere, because you never see a child, especially 5 years old child, that all of a sudden he knows things that nobody taught him. It's very rare. Although sometimes you see the children who are very kind of small and play, for example, piano or some other instrument very professionally, and it's very difficult even to explain how it is. And the natural explanation is that somehow that child was some musical, genius from previous life, and in this life it just came naturally to him. As soon as he saw the instrument, he starts, playing it. Sometimes you see also small devoted children. They just get the carottles and they play like professionals. So they're small children. So it means they were devotees in previous life, and they played it. So it's very easy to pick it up. So similarly, Prahlad Maharaj is just 5 years old, but devotional service is so natural to him because he was taught by Narada Muni while he was still in a womb. Not to mention that he is also Nitya Siddha. He's actually mixed sadhana and Nitya Siddha. Mixed Siddha means that his perfection is partly due to eternal perfection, partly due to sadhana. Narad Muni also belongs to the same category of mixed Siddha. Prabhupada explains this in one purport, somewhere in the Bhagavata, I forgot exactly where. All right, so I'll read the next and then we go again around. So Shri Prasad Vacha Matirna Krishne Paratasvattova Nito Biphadyeta Griha Vratanam Adhanta Gobir Isatam Tamisram Puna Punash Charvita Charvananam. This is a shloka that Prabhupada quotes many times. Puna Punash Charvita Charvananam. Showing the truth again and again. Prahlad Maharaj replied, because of their uncontrolled senses, persons too addicted to materialistic life make progress towards hellish conditions and repeatedly chew that which has been already chewed. Their inclinations toward Krishna are never aroused either by the instructions of others, by their own efforts, or by a combination of both. Report. In this verse, the words Matirna Krishna refer to devotional service rendered to Krishna. So-called politicians, erudite scholars, and philosophers who read Bhagavad Gita try to twist some meaning from it to suit their material purposes. But their misunderstandings of Krishna will not yield them any profit. Because such politicians, philosophers, and scholars are interested in using Bhagavad Gita as a vehicle for adjusting things materially, for them constant thought of Krishna or Krishna consciousness is impossible. Matirna Krishna. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Bhakti Mam Abhijanati, only through devotional service can one understand Krishna as he is. So-called politicians and scholars think of Krishna as fictitious. The politician says that his Krishna is different from the Krishna depicted in Bhagavad Gita. Even though he accepted Krishna and Rama as the supreme, he thinks of Rama and Krishna as impersonal because he has no idea of service to Krishna. Thus his only business is Puna Punash Charvita Charvananam, showing the truth again and again. The aim of such politicians and academic scholars is to enjoy this material world by their bodily senses. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that those who are Grihavrata, whose only aim is to live comfortably with the body in the material world, cannot understand Krishna. The two expressions, Grihavrata and Charvita Charvananam, indicate that a materialistic person tries to enjoy sense gratification in different bodily forms, life after life, but is still unsatisfied. In the name of personalism, this ism or that ism, such persons always remain attached to the materialistic way of life. He said in Bhagavad Gita, Bhoga Ishwarya Prasaktanam Taya Paharita Chetasam Yalasayatmika Buddhi Samadau Na Vidhyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Those who are attached to material enjoyment cannot be fixed in devotional service to the Lord. They cannot understand Bhagavan Krishna or his instructions, Bhagavad Gita. Adanta Gobir Vishatham Tamisram. Their path actually leads to hellish life. So just before I forget, so what the goal of life of a person is something very, important. If one's goal of life is just to be happy in this world, he cannot understand Krishna. It's just not possible. It's not possible to understand any spiritual instructions as long as one wants to enjoy this material world. And that's why you see normal people, they just go on working hard every day and enjoying whatever little time they have after the work. And that's their whole life. They're just working like this for 40 years, then they go to pension, and then they are incapacitated and cannot enjoy anymore and just wait slowly for that to come. In such condition, one cannot understand Krishna. One has to change his goal of life. One has to, have goal that is out of this world. He has to have transcendental goal. Has to understand that he has to get out of here. This is the first step. Only then he can approach understanding Krishna. And then Prabhupada here speaks about these scholars who were just like licking a bottle of the honey from outside. They speak about Krishna, but they cannot understand Krishna because their goal of life is to stay here. Okay, so let's continue. It's confirmed by Rishabhadev. Mahat Sevam Dvaram Ahur Vimukte. One must try to understand Krishna by serving a devotee. The word Mahat refers to a devotee. Mahatmanas tumam bharta davim prakritim ashritha. Vajantyananyam manaso yatva bhutadim avyayam. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They fully engage in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. A Mahatma is one who is constantly engaged in devotional service, 24 hours a day. As explained in the following verses, unless one adheres to such a great personality, one cannot understand Krishna. Hiranyakashipu wanted to know where Prahlad has gotten this Krishna consciousness. Who had taught him? Prahlad sarcastically replied, "My dear father, persons like you never understand Krishna. One can understand Krishna only by serving a Mahat, a great soul. Those who try to adjust material conditions are said to be chewing the chewed." This term comes from the chewing that the sugar cane, which has some juice when it's fresh and it's very juicy, but once you spit it out and somebody else comes and picks it up and starts chewing it again, but there's no juice anymore there. He's just chewing the chewed. It's all the same thing without any rasa, without any juice. So no one has been able to adjust material conditions, but life after life, generation after generation, people try and repeatedly fail. Unless one is properly trained by Mahatma, or unalloyed devotee of the Lord, there's no possibility of one's understanding Krishna and his devotional service. So we need training by spiritual advanced person, by Mahat. We need mercy and help on the spiritual path in order to understand Krishna. Otherwise, just by reading books also, it's difficult on your own to understand Krishna. Okay, here Vishnu Thakur says, true, according to you, thinking of Krishna is asat. Hiranyakashipu is speaking. It is non-existent, at least in you. This mentality, this is Prahlad Maharaj speaking. This mentality will never arise in persons like you. Prahlad laughs at his father with these crooked words. From persons like your guru, from yourself, or from combined effort, this inclination does not arise. Internally, however, Prahlad understands that it does not arise because his father does not have the dust from the feet of the devotees. So he has no mercy of devotees, that's why he has no understanding. Grihavratana means persons attached to the household life. That life is described by uncontrolled senses, they enter hell. By the householders, but the householders should go to Svarga sometimes. They chew what others have already chewed. The prostitute house and Svarga are all the same. Yeah, sometimes householder, if they're pious, karma kandis, and perform, rituals and worship Indra or other demigods, they might go to Svarga for a short time, but then they come back. And even that going to Svarga and coming down is showing the truth. It's we already been there. We already tried everything in this material world. We tried Svarga, we tried hell, we tried earth, and nothing made us happy. And as long as we are here, we are just chewing the truth without getting any juice. So if we want a real juice, we have to take up to Krishna consciousness, because the soul can be happy only with the spiritual happiness. No material happiness, no amount of material happiness can satisfy the soul. All right, let us go again from Subhadra Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Nate vidhu svartagatim hi Vishnu durasayaye bahirartamanina andayatander upaniyamanas te api satantriyam urudam nibaddha. Persons who are strongly entrapped by the consciousness of enjoying material life and who have therefore accepted as their leader or guru a similar blind man attached to external sense objects can't understand that the goal of life is to return home back to Godhead and engage in the service of Lord Vishnu. As blind men guided by another blind man missed the right path and fall into a ditch. Materially attached men led by another materially attached men are bound by the ropes of fruitive labor, which are made of very strong cords, and they continue again and again in materialistic life, suffering the threefold miseries. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Since there must always be a difference of opinion between demons and devotees, Hiranyakashipu, when criticized by his son Prahlad Maharaj, should not have been surprised that Prahlad Maharaj diverted from his way of life. Nonetheless, Hiranyakashipu was extremely angry and wanted to rebuke his son for deriding his teacher or spiritual master, who had been born in the Brahmin family of the great Acharya Sukracharya. The word Sukra means semen, and Acharya refers to a teacher or guru. Hereditary gurus or spiritual masters have been accepted everywhere since time immemorial. But Prahlad Maharaj declined to accept such a seminal guru or take instructions from him. An actual guru is Srotriya, one who has heard or received perfect knowledge through parampara, the disciplic succession. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj did not recognize a seminal spiritual master. Such spiritual masters are not at all interested in Vishnu. Indeed, they are hopeful of material success. Bahir Artha Manina. The word Bahi means external. Artha means interest. And Manina means taking very seriously. Generally speaking, practically everyone is unaware of the spiritual world. The knowledge of the materialist is restricted within the 4 billion mile limit of this material world, which is in the dark portion of the creation. They do not know that beyond the material world is the spiritual world. Unless one is a devotee of the Lord, one can't understand the existence of the spiritual world. Gurus, teachers who are simply interested in this material world are described in this verse as andha, blind. Such blind men may lead many other blind followers without true knowledge or of material conditions, but they are not accepted by devotees like Prahlad Maharaj. Such blind teachers, being interested in the external material world, are always bound by the strong ropes of material nature. Sunat Chakravarti Thakur explains, "O fool, you are criticizing me, your father, whose feet are worshipped by Indra? Listen, foolish boy, do your teachers, greedily learned pupils of Sukracharya, not know the importance of scriptures? You do not think that what they have taught is correct?" Prahlad Maharaj replies, "They do not know that Vishnu, who is one's treasure, is the goal. They know only goals like Swarga, which are not valuable at all. They have evil hearts and consider sense enjoyment, which is useless, to be valuable. If they do not know what is valuable, how will their pupils know?" An example is given. Blind men directed on the path by order blind men fell into a ditch. Similarly, the teachers, bound up by the rituals, tied by the long ropes, names like Brahman mentioned in the Vedas, fell along with their students.
So here we have condemnation of blind following the blind, and people are generally, innocent, and it's very easy to mislead them. But those who mislead them, they're more responsible than those who are being misled. And hereditary gurus are also condemned by Srila Prabhupada. This means, my father was a guru. It was his profession. He used to earn money like that. And what should I do? I will also be a guru. I will also go and collect dakshina. I will give blessings and do maybe some ritual. And this is it's a business. It's a profession. That's why I think Srila Prabhupada mentioned that in his childhood he was initiated by such professional guru, and that he later just rejected him. That he understood this is not a real guru. The guru has to be a member of Parampara, and he has to have understood. He has to understand the absolute truth, Brahmanishtam. That this the real guru is established in Brahman, in understanding of Krishna. Otherwise, what can he help? And because it's a Kali Yoga, there is abundance of this sort of gurus. After Prabhupada, even during Prabhupada's times, some Indian gurus went there. At that time, it was who was there, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi and a few others. And Prabhupada criticized them very heavily. Although they had something, but they were not really self-realized persons. But they were. Maharishi was selling mantras, for thousands of dollars, which were just mantras taken from the Vedas and then a little bit adjusted, For example, Bij mantras like Klim, Aim, Aing. He was selling, for thousands of dollars, and people were paying for these initiations. It was quite some cheating business. And nowadays also there are such, even in the sort of Vaishnava world, there is one particular school I won't mention by name, and their guru, nobody can actually ascertain from whom he took initiation, and he's preaching bhakti and love, and he's very popular. He has thousands of followers in the West and even in India, and people just go blindly after him. And then it was kind of recently somebody showed a photo where the followers, they were putting tulsi leaves on their guru's feet, which is offensive. Tulsi leaves you put only on Krishna's feet, but because he was allowing that, that means that he's completely ignorant, that he's actually has a demonic mentality, allowing tulsi leaves to be placed on his feet. Well, tulsi is reserved only for Krishna, not for so-called guru. Okay, anyway, so let us go. Next one is Chatura Mataji again.
Okay. Ne Sunmatisthatva Urukrama Green Sprishati Anatha Pagamo Yata Taha Mahiyashan Pada Rajo Vishekam Niskinchananamna Vanitayat. Word translation. Unless they smear upon their bodies the dust of the lotus feet of a Vaishnava, completely free from material contamination, persons very much inclined toward materialistic life cannot be attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, who is glorified for his uncommon activities. Only by becoming Krishna conscious and taking shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord in this way can one be freed from material contamination. Purport: becoming Krishna conscious brings about anatta apagama, the disappearance of all anattas, the miserable conditions we have unnecessarily accepted. The material body is the basic principle of these unwanted miserable conditions. The entire Vedic civilization is meant to relieve one from these unwanted miseries, but persons bound by the laws of nature do not know the destination of life. As described in the previous verse, Isha Tanchayan Urudani Badaha. They are conditioned by the three strong modes of material nature. The education that keeps the conditioned soul bound life to life is called materialistic education. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained that the materialistic education expands the influence of Maya. Such an education induces the conditioned soul to be increasingly attracted to materialistic life and to stray further and further away from liberation from unwanted miseries. One may ask, why highly educated persons do not take to Krishna consciousness? The reason is explained in this verse. Unless one takes shelter of a bona fide, fully conscious spiritual master, there is no chance of understanding Krishna. The educators, scholars, and big political leaders, worshipped by millions of people, cannot understand the goal of life and take to Krishna consciousness, for they have not accepted a bona fide spiritual master and the Vedas. Therefore, in the Mukundaka Upanishad 3.2.3, it is said, Nayan Atma Pravachane na Labyona Mataya na Bahuna Shrutena. One cannot become self-realized simply by having an academic education, by presenting lectures in an erudic way, pravachanena labhyah, or by being an intelligent scientist who discovers many wonderful things. One cannot understand Krishna unless one is graced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Only one who has surrendered to a pure devotee of Krishna and taken the dust of his lotus feet can understand Krishna. First, one must understand how to get out of the clutches of Maya, the only means to become Krishna conscious. And to become Krishna conscious very easily, one must take shelter of the realized soul, Mahat or Mahatma, whose only interest is to engage in the service of the Supreme Law. As the Lord says in Bhagavata 9.13, Mahamanastu Mapata Devin Prakritin Mashitaha Bhajati Yananya Manaso Nata Puttadinma Viyan. O son of Pritha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, original and inexhaustible. Therefore, to end the unwanted misery of life, one must become a devotee. Yashasti Bhakti Bhagavati Akinchana Save Gunestara Samasate Shuraha. One who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna constantly manifests all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.18-12. Yashadeva Parapakti Yatha Deve Tata Guru Tashyate Katita Hiyata Prakashante Mahamanaha. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the law and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. Svetasvatara Upanishad 6.23. Yanmevesa Rinutetena Labhyas Tasha Atma Vimute Tanusvam. The law is attained only by one whom he himself chooses. To such a person, he manifests his own form. Mudaka Upanishad 3.23. These are Vedic injunctions. One must take shelter of a self-realized spiritual master, not a materially educated scholar or politician. One must take shelter of a Nischinchana, a person engaged in devotional service and free from material contamination. That is the way to return home back to Godhead. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur 7.5.32. If the scriptures say that Vishnu is the variable goal, then your teachers who knows scriptures who have become fixed on Vishnu. Since they do not think of Vishnu, bhakti to Vishnu must not be the instruction of scripture. Nischincananam means those who have given up karma, jnana, and desires for material wealth, sons, and family with desire only for bhakti. Mayananyena pavana bhakti kovatiye jittam makrite tyatha kamanas tyatha svajana padavaha. They perform bhakti to me with exclusive devotion, giving up all actions to attain me, giving out friends and relatives. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.25.20. As long as the intelligence does not accept a bath in the dust from the feet of great devotees who have given up all material desires, bathing in his Vaishnava behavior and knowledge, and that intelligence will not touch the feet of the Lord. Shruti says, Yasha deva para bhakti yatta deva tatta guru tasya tasyati katita hi atha prasha sante mahat manaha. He who has bhakti for the Guru as much as he has for the law understand the meaning of the scriptures. Sveta Svatara Upanishad Yam Evesa Unute Tena Labirs Tashyasa Ama Nute Tanu Swam. The Lord reveals his form to he whom he chooses. Mudaka Upanishad, the goal of the intelligence touching the Lord's feet, Yatatha, is destruction of samsara, anatta apaganmaha. This is actually an accompanied result. The main goal is simply to touch the feet of the Lord.
Okay, so this is a long purport. Let's just remember what was the verse. Because when we read long purports, we forget the verse. Okay, here, that one has to smear their bodies with the dust of lotus feet of Vaishnava, pure Vaishnava. This doesn't just mean, you take a dust and you put it, and then you continue doing whatever you're doing before. It's a more kind of symbolic. Taking dust means that you're taking shelter for Vaishnava, and then you are ready to follow his instructions. You surrender to him, and you're ready to be guided by him, to be trained by him in his spiritual life. Otherwise, you just take dust and go away. I mean, some benefit will be there, but it's not going to change very quickly. So you need to surrender and follow instructions. The Guru is there to guide you, to guide us in the spiritual life. And the other point Prabhupada is making here that we should not accept as a Guru somebody who has no qualification for Guru, just he's materially very educated. But Sansarji Thakur, he accepted as his guru Gaur Kishore Das Babaji, who was illiterate. So from a material point of view, he was completely uneducated. He didn't even know how to read and write. But still, because he was a self-realized person, Srila Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Saraswati Thakur, he recognized his exalted position and he accepted him as a guru. Although he was the very learned, he was, the very scholarly and well-read person, and he was teaching some university, Jyotish, Kolkata University. He was given to be the head of Jyotish Cathedra, and that's why he was given a title of Saraswati, because of his learning. Still, he accepted a spiritual master that was illiterate, just to show that a real learning is not some theoretical memorizing of certain subjects. It's real learning is in the realization of Krishna and taking shelter of Krishna. One who has surrendered fully to Krishna is the most learned person, regardless whether he's externally learned or not.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes.
Yet there is, I think there is one important point. That is how can we know a realized devotee? Because nowadays there are so many spiritual masters, and they also have some.
How can we do? How can we do what? I didn't hear. Can you say again?
How can we know the spiritual master is a self-realized soul?
Oh, how can we know whether spiritual master is self-realized?
Yet, because this purpose is very important point is that
Right.
we must take shelter of a self-realized soul.
Yeah, it's not easy to recognize because a person can act and he can perform. He can be a good actor and act as a self-realized person. But if he's really self-realized, that means you will be transformed in his association and following his instructions. With Prabhupada, nobody had any doubt that he was self-realized because people just felt moved. They felt a lot of bhakti just by meeting Prabhupada. Everybody, on a deeper level, that they felt touched just by Prabhupada's presence, but just by listening to him giving class or singing Radha Madhava. Many Prabhupada disciples, they describe in their memories how felt the energy of Prabhupada who just made them. And this is actually one of the symptoms of Uttamadhikari, that just by seeing him, you want to chant Hare Krishna. Just by seeing a pure Vaishnava, immediately you want you feel the urge to chant Hare Krishna. The Maha Mantra is automatically coming on your tongue just by seeing him. I remember myself when I first saw Prabhupada, not live, but on a TV, and I was actually not devoted at the time. I was just a young boy, but there was some documentary about Krishna consciousness that was played on a TV, and I happened just to switch on the TV, and then I saw Prabhupada, and I was very much kind of shocked. I didn't know who this person was, and I felt like I want to bow down. I want to fall flat on the floor to offer dandavats but I never before saw anybody else doing this, so I was thinking this is strange. But like some force from within was following me to over obeisances, because the Prabhupada had such, even on TV, had such a aura and powerful presence that they just pushed me from inside to over obeisances.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
this is it has to come from within. Just by looking from outside, you can try to deduct oh, he knows so many shlokas, he knows this, he knows this, he walks like this, he walks like that, he smiles like this. It can be very tricky, but you have to feel presence of Krishna. In his presence, you have to feel enlivened. You have to feel Krishna conscious, that Krishna is coming to your mind just by listening to this person. That you're becoming Krishna conscious by listening to him. That your consciousness gets transformed, because association means some sort of transference of consciousness. You hear, and then you develop the same mood, same bhav, same attitude. It's affecting you. Some deeper effect has to be there on the heart level, not only on the mind level. Otherwise, all academic professors, they can speak a lot, even about Bhagavata and about Krishna, but there is no transformation, there is no change in the heart of those who listen to them. But everybody who listened to Prabhupada, they immediately felt moved, deeply moved, So of course Prabhupada was, Paramahamsa Uttamadhikari. So for sure we can say that, the present day GBC, so-called approved gurus, you cannot just stamp Uttamadhikaris by approving somebody as a guru, but they've been sanctioned to act as initiating gurus, initiating spiritual masters, which doesn't mean that everybody, all of them, or any of them is Uttamadhikari, but they could be Madhyamadhikaris or even Kanishthadhikaris, whatever they are. There are some devotees who are senior and trying to help others, whether they are realized or not. That's a different question, and I won't go into details
Yeah,
of this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Anybody?
So
Yeah.
yeah, Prabhu, how about that when you listen to those self-realized souls lectures or maybe some kirtans, do you feel your energy down or your energy high?
I mean, what do you feel by listening to Prabhupada? It should be the same,
Oh,
You're supposed to be enlivened by kirtan, by speaking. You're supposed to feel the urge to also sing Hare Krishna. This is the symptom that is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is describing. Whoever sees, the highest devotee, just by seeing him, person wants to chant Hare Krishna. This is the topmost devotee, Uttamadhikari.
okay.
Just by his very presence, by his sight, others are made to chant Hare Krishna. And Madhyavan Adhikari Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he defines somebody who chants Mahamantra, Hare Krishna Mahamantra without stopping, constantly. So one who constantly chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he's called Madhyamadhikari. And Uttamadhikari is one who has chanted Mahamantra once. That is Kanishthadhikari. Madhyama chants constantly, Kanishta chants sometimes, and Uttamadhikari, he's so absorbed in Krishna that just by seeing him, you want to chant Hare Krishna. So this is categorization given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Of course, in Bhagavatam also, there are other definitions of Uttamadhikari in 11th Canto in Uddhava Gita. There is also, but this actually, there is something Uttamadhikari, Madhyama, and Kanishta that's mentioned in in Rupa Goswami Supadeshamrita, this is Uttama in sadhana bhakti, one who has, who has learned the Shastra very well, who is expert in logic, and who can convince others. He is convinced, he is called Uttama Adhikari in sadhana bhakti. Doesn't mean that he is realized, but in sadhana bhakti, he has achieved the highest position through his, devotion and learning, and he's able to convince others. Madhyamadikari, he has a strong faith, but he might not be so expert in logic and argument, but he has a strong faith. And Kanishta, his mind can be very easily turned away just by some argument. But this categorization is for those in sadhana bhakti. It's not bhakti in total. So it doesn't speak about the level of realizations. It just speaks about the levels of those who are in sadhana bhakti. And sadhana bhakti is basically up to the nishta or ruchi. Above that, should be raganuga bhakti.
Mm. Mm.
Anybody else has anything on this? And of course, before taking initiation, one is advised, Guru is advised to examine the disciple. Disciple is advised to examine the Guru. But obviously, if you're neophyte and you don't know how to examine, how can you judge? So you just take initiation because you believe that GBC body or whoever gave permission for him to initiate that they have better judgment. So you're putting trust in an institution to tell you. But actually, in reality, it would be better that that person himself would, understand whom he should take initiation from, not that he is told. Previously, in
Yeah.
this Acharya, there was one period in ISKCON when there was zonal Acharya system. So it means that 11 gurus were there, and each of them had one zone in the world. Somebody was from America, somebody Europe, somebody Asia, somebody Australia, and whoever lived in those zones, they would take initiation only from that guru, from that zone. And then, unfortunately, it happened that, most of them just fell. And that means they pretended to be Uttamadhikaris, Paramahansa gurus. They had big vyasansas. But then most of them, they just fell from the position of a guru because they were not there. They were just playing. They were just acting as gurus. But in reality, they were still, Kanishta Adhikaris, just neophyte devotees who were behaving like gurus. One of them, he was even having a hat like Prabhupada. He had a stick like Prabhupada. He tried to walk like a Prabhupada. Basically, he was imitating Prabhupada, but he was not a Prabhupada. And later, he ended up in trouble, in prison, and this and that. This is all part of his history. We don't want to be repeated. But the people, they should be educated first, and then they should be given a freedom to choose the guru of their liking, not that they're told or imposed. You have to take initiation from him or from him because he is a popular, he's this, he's that. No, you have to first educate them and then let them choose. And you educate them on the basis of Shastra.
Yeah,
And
very good.
Yeah, and of course, Diksha Guru is not all in all. I mean, even if one has taken initiation from one Diksha Guru, and later he finds out that he might not learn sufficiently from that particular Guru that he has taken initiation from, he can still take Shiksha from other Gurus. There are so many Shiksha Gurus who might not be even Diksha Gurus. But what is more important? Shiksha is more important than Diksha. Diksha is just, a ceremony, name-giving ceremony, and mantra-giving ceremony. But this is not enough. It's just the beginning. That's why it's called initiation, means beginning. You have to put bhakti yoga in practice, and for this you need shiksha, you need guidance. That's why shiksha guru is more important. And sometimes, diksha and shiksha guru can be in one person, but often, person has many shiksha gurus, one diksha guru and many shiksha gurus. So we can take shiksha from elsewhere if our diksha guru is not able for some reason to give us proper instructions. Also nowadays, there are diksha gurus with many thousands of disciples, and they cannot even know physically who their disciples are, what to speak about, giving them personal instructions, giving them personal time. It's not possible if you have more than 100 disciples to guide each and every person personally, apart from giving some general classes for everybody. That's okay, but to guide a person personally, you need to have a limited number of disciples to be spiritual guide or mentor. And that's why there are many sort of mentorship systems, and then shiksha guru systems. Yeah, like that.
Yeah, Prabhu, then how do you choose the Shiksha Guru? You mean you had to consult with your Diksha Guru and then ask his opinion? And
Well,
then you
generally, it's some etiquette that you should ask Diksha Guru, but sometimes you cannot even approach the Diksha Guru because he's so busy. So
yeah.
I would not bother very much with that, And anybody who is following Prabhupada in ISKCON, and you feel inspired by, you can take guidance or shiksha from him. Of course, he also has to, be inspired to give you guidance or shiksha. Also, he has to have inclination and time, and it's a relationship. It's a building relationship. You have somehow to build relationship with that person, and then it can be of some use. So it's not all this formality. Yeah, giving initiation is a formality, and then getting permission, and this and that. And then on paper, you have a Diksha Guru. And then on paper, you also have a formal Shiksha Guru. But in reality, nobody's guiding you. So what is the use of all this? You need, a real help. You need real guidance. So forget about all the formalities of getting permissions and getting papers and documents and certificates. No, you need real help. That means somebody who is interested to help you and who is able to help you also. So
Yeah.
you have to be practical. And of course, you have to pray for Krishna to send you person who will help you. And then Krishna will send. Whether you want to call it Shiksha Guru or this or that or Diksha, these are all just external designations, calling somebody Shiksha, Diksha, Guru, formalities and permissions. We should try to go a little deeper, to be a little more introspective and see what and who can help us to make a spiritual advancement. Okay, I think we should continue. We read this. Let me go. The next, who is the next? Dhanashree Mataji is the next.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Yes, please.
Iti uvaparatam putram Hiranyakashipurusha andikritatma svotsangan nirasyate mahi tali. After Prahlad Maharaj had spoken in his way and become silent, Hiranyakashipu, blinded by anger, threw him off his lap and onto the ground.
See, this is very serious. It would be called child abuse in modern language. He's just 5 years old boy, and then he's throwing him off his lap on the ground. Prahlad could have been hurt. Maybe you can read one more because it was without any purport.
Amarsa Usavistaha, Kasayi Bhuta Lokchana, Vadiatam Aswayam Vadyo, Nisarayata Nyotaha. Indigent and angry, his reddish eyes like molten copper, Hiranyakashipu said to his servants, "O demon, take this boy away from me. He deserves to be killed. Kill him as soon as possible." He was Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He was overcome with anger along with intolerance, Amarsa. Nirita means "O Rakshasas."
So yeah, he had the Rakshasa servants and he wanted them to kill his son. This is very serious, you know. When a father wants to kill a son, it's a horrible thought. It's a horrible crime. Of course, in Kali Yuga, you hear the father killing the son killing the father, the mother. It's something that is happening here and there. But even it happened in those days, then this happened in Satya Yuga. All right, 35, Gunaraj Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Ayam me bhraturha soyam itpaswan shugruto damah pitruvya antu padau yo Vishnu dasavad archati. This boy Prahlada is the killer of my brother, for he has given up his family to engage in the devotional service of the enemy, Lord Vishnu, like a menial servant. Purport. Hiranyakashipu considered his son Prahlad Maharaja to be the killer of his brother because Prahlad Maharaja was engaged in the devotional service of Lord Vishnu. In other words, Prahlad Maharaja would be elevated to Sarupya liberation, and in that sense, he resembled Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Prahlada was to be killed by Hiranyakashipu. Devotees, Vaishnavas, attain the liberation of Sarupya, Salokya, Sarishti and Samipya, whereas the Mayavadis are supposed to attain the liberation known as Sayujya. Sayujya Mukti, however, is not very secure, whereas Sarupya Mukti, Salokya Mukti, Sarishti Mukti and Samipya Mukti are most certain. Although the servants of Lord Vishnu Narayana in the Vaikuntha planets are equally situated with the Lord, the devotees there know very well that the Lord is the master, whereas they are servants. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. He is the killer of my brother, but it is well known that Vishnu killed your brother. He is Vishnu. How is that? He worships Vishnu like a servant. Though he is the son of a demon king, he is Vishnu because Vishnu gives a similar form to his servants. Therefore, kill him.
So here we have these different forms of liberation. Sarupya achieving the same form as the Lord, Salokya living on the same planet, Sarshti, Samipya having the same opulence, and Sarshti, what was the Sarshti? I forgot. Yeah, having the same opulence as the Lord and Sarshti. Anyway, this all Vaikuntha liberations, and generally pure Vaishnavas, they don't even accept this sort of liberation, especially Gaudiya Vaishnavas who want to go to Goloka Vrindavan. We are not interested in any of these forms of liberations that are meant for transferring one to Vaikuntha. Gaudiya Vaishnavas interested only in pure, unalloyed prema, love of God, and that love is available only in Goloka Vrindavan, in Vraj, and there is no word about any of this sort of liberation there. You don't get the body same as Krishna's body. You might be a cowherd boy or a gopi or whatever you are. It's not the same form, and you're not enjoying the same opulence. You might be living in the same place as Krishna in Vrindavan. So in that sense, it could be like Salokya, but this Salokya means Vaikuntha. And of course, Ayuji Mukti is something that is rejected by all sorts of Vaishnavas. So all four sampradayas, this is only for Mayavadis and also the enemies of the Lord. They sometimes attain this Ayuji Mukti by being killed by the Lord. They merge into his effulgence. And even sometimes the enemies, they attain, Sarupya, like what was that one who imitated Krishna's form, and he was killed by Krishna.
Panduranga.
Paundraka, And because of his, constant meditation on Krishna's form and wanted him to have the same form, and he even had, extra two hands and everything else that Lord Vishnu had. He eventually attained this Sarupya, liberation, Vaikuntha. So even if the demons can attain this sort of liberation, well, these are very special, demons killed by the Lord. It's not all the demons. But still, strictly speaking, as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we do not aspire to any of these four types of liberation. We want Raj Prema. This is the goal of Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Raj Prema, the pure love that is found only in Vrindavan. All right, so okay, let me read now. 36. Vishnurva sarvasaukimno karishyatya samanjasa saridam dustyajam pitror ahadya panchahayana. Although Prahlad is only 5 years old, even at this young age, he has given up his affectionate relationship with his father and mother. Therefore, he is certainly untrustworthy. Indeed, it is not at all believable that he will behave well toward Vishnu. See, he is saying here that he was badly behaving towards his parents, that Prahlad was badly behaving towards his parents. But what was his fault? He was just, worshiping Krishna. It was his only fault that he was Krishna conscious. Otherwise, he was very nice and kind to his mother and father. Still, Hiranyakashipu is so envious that he is saying that he has given up his affectionate relationship. And he's not trustworthy, and then he will also cheat Vishnu. This is Hiranyakashipu's logic. And the Vishnu Chaitanya recommends Vishnu should not be believed. How could a person who is intelligent put faith in him? Hiranyakashipu, he is looking at Vishnu as his enemy, who can kill him anytime, and you don't trust your enemy. So that's why you don't trust Vishnu. So how can you put faith in Vishnu? And my own son, he is putting faith in that my enemy. So my son is also my enemy because he's a friend of my enemy. Enemy of my friend, enemy of my friend is my enemy, and friend, how does it go? Yeah, enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah, okay, I'll just read a couple of more slokas. We do not start around again. Aropya patyam hittakrit yatausadam swadehajopyamay yavat sutto hittaha chindyatat angam yat utatmano hittam sheshan sukham jivati yad vivarjanat. Although a medicinal herb being born in the forest does not belong to the same category as man. If beneficial, it is kept very carefully. Similarly, if someone outside of one's family is favorable, he should be given protection like a son. On the other hand, if a limb of one's body is poisoned by disease, it must be amputated so that the rest of the body may live happily. Similarly, even one's own son, if unfavorable, must be rejected, although born of one's own body. Do you agree with this logic, sort of logic? For example, you have a son or a daughter, and you're a devotee, and somehow your son turns out not to grow up as a devotee. He just doesn't want to be a devotee, and this is something that is happening. There are many devotee parents, and their children, they are friendly. Okay, they may like a little bit, but they're not really practicing devotees. Does it mean that you reject your son or daughter, or you still keep, relationship with them? Of course you keep and try to be nice to them as much as possible. You cannot force them to be devotees if they don't want. But sooner or later one day they'll become. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed all devotees of the Lord to be humbler than the grass and more tolerant than trees. Otherwise, there will always be disturbances to the execution of devotional service. He is a vivid example of how a devotee is disturbed by a non-devotee, even though the non-devotee is an affectionate father. The material world is such that a non-devotee father becomes an enemy of devotee son, having determined to kill even his son. And Akashipu gave the example of amputating a part of one's body that has become septic and therefore injurious to the rest of the body. The same example, of course, may also be applied to non-devotees. Chanakya Pandit advises, Tyaja Durjana Samsargam Vajasadu Samagamam. Devotees actually serious about advancing spiritual life should give up the company of non-devotees and always keep company with devotees. To be too attached to material existence is ignorance because material existence is temporary and miserable. Therefore, devotees who are determined to perform tapasya, penances and austerities, to realize the self, and who are determined to become advanced in spiritual consciousness, must give up the company of atheistic non-devotees. So that means even if these atheistic non-devotees are family relatives, their association should be given up. Yes. Prahlad Maharaj maintained an attitude of non-cooperation with the philosophy of his father, Hiranyakashipu, yet he was tolerant and humble. Hiranyakashipu, however, being a non-devotee, was so polluted that he was even prepared to kill his own son. He justified this by putting forward the logic of amputation. I just remember how in Chaitanya Charitamrita it was discussed that Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, he had one brother who was a devotee, but he had full faith only in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but he had no faith in Lord Nityananda. And that's why he offended a devotee of Nitai. And then after that, Krishna Das Kaviraj, he had a dream, and that dream Nitai appeared to him and told him, you leave from here, you go, and you go to Vrindavan. So he immediately, as soon as he woke up, he started walking to Vrindavan. So he left his family, he left his brother, he left the company, although they were, his family relatives. Generally, you would say, please Hare Krishna to your good brother, to your brother, I'm going, but no, he immediately left. Because his brother, he became offensive. He became an offender to Lord Nityananda. And immediately Krishna's courage, he reacted and left that place. And Vishnu Thakur, he comments, how can we kill your son? A person not of one's family. if beneficial like a medicinal herb, is treated like sun, and limb, if unbeneficial for oneself, should be cut off. I remember one example for one Mataji in the West many, many years ago. Her parents were very much against her being a devotee, and gave her so much trouble, even, they were imprison her in the house. Even somehow she managed, to escape the house, to escape the country, and she left to another country and joined the temple there, and she never again, returned back to their family, and never connected to them again. And they couldn't do anything anymore to stop her of being devotee. So such relatives who are obstacle on a path of devotional service, who don't want you to be a devotee, they deserve to be abandoned and not to have any connection with them. All right, okay, maybe one more. I have no electricity here. Complete darkness. Sarver upayar hantavya sambodya shayanasane Sukhrilinga dhara shatrur muner dustamivendriyam. Just as uncontrolled senses are the enemies of all yogis engaged in advancing a spiritual life, this Prahlad, who appears to be a friend, is an enemy because I cannot control him. Therefore, this enemy, whether eating, sitting, or sleeping, must be killed by all means. Look at his logic. He is the enemy because I cannot control him. So, does it mean that everybody we cannot control, they're our enemies? This is a quite, demoniac logic. Purport. Hinyakashipu planned a campaign to kill Prahlad Maharaj. He would kill his son by administering poison to him while he was eating, by making him sit in boiling oil, or by throwing him under the feet of an elephant while he was lying down. Thus, Hinyakashipu decided to kill his innocent child, who was only 5 years old, simply because the boy had become a devotee of the Lord. This is the attitude of non-devotee towards devotees. And Vishwanath, he comments he should be killed by putting poison in his food and other means. Well, in the modern day world, if the parent would attempt to kill a child, police should or would come and arrest that parent. But of course, in Hinyakashipu's time, he was the government. He was everything. Nobody was above him, not even the demigods. So nobody was there to check him in his criminal activity of trying to kill his son. And nowadays, even here in Mayapur, when some neighbors hear parents in the neighboring house beating their child, they they call some authorities to react, and then CPT is called. Why you're beating your child? And then they have to explain. I mean, in Indian culture, it's kind of common, some physical education, but in the Western world, it's in the last 40 or 50 years, it became something completely forbidden. Although previously it was also present there, it was kind of normal that a little, education with a stick or something was something considered normal. But modern day world became so liberal, and then that even parents are not anymore allowed to do this. But of course, Hinyakashipu here, he's going to another extreme. He wants to kill him, not just little pulling his ear or slapping him once or twice. No, he's doing something completely outrageous. Well, I think we will stop here a little earlier. We don't need to go always full 2 hours. I think this is enough. If you have any final, yes, yes.
Not really related to the class, but it's related to the class. I was thinking since the very beginning, we never had classes so late, 6 to 8. I don't know if in the class somebody is interested to take the class a little sooner, but are you planning to change the time, or you will stay like that, 6 to 8?
Somehow I'm just going by inertia. It was Shailesh Prabhu, who is not today here, who we can try to talk to him and see maybe if he can move it 1 hour earlier or something, because he's in UK, and for him, I think, what is that, 6, yeah, I guess 1:30, whether he can start maybe 12:30. I would need to ask him.
Okay.
But what about others present here? Would you all prefer earlier, or 6 is okay for you, or how is it?
For me, 6 is okay.
For me also, it's okay, bro. 6 okay.
Chandra Mataji, is it very late for you now? What is the time there?
Yeah, it's almost 10:30, and
that's-
maybe you can half an hour earlier.
Maybe half an hour. Oh, okay, maybe. Yeah, let me also see with Shailesh Prabhu if he can do it. He just said he won't be today and the next week. But maybe next week we can try half an hour earlier, 5:30 maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
At least something for the
Yes,
beginning.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Because
Let us plan then next week,
we
next
started
Thursday
at
at 5:30.
4:30 to 6:30, and then suddenly big.
Sorry,
We'll try.
Dhanush Mataji, I didn't hear.
The very big Bhagavata Vicara was starting at 6:30. No, not 6:30, 4:30 to 6:30.
4:30.
Yes.
Yeah, that was those days. Many things were there. Yeah, 4:30. But I
Okay.
think it's quite late, quite early for for
Well, yeah, okay.
everybody.
Okay.
4:30. Yeah, those days was 4:30. But let us try next week 5:30. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then at least something.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you all very much. I'll see you next Wednesday. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.